question doesn't start with what are they doing, it starts with what aren't they doing.
The Indiana Fever star, Sophie Cunningham, she said, I got a lot of feedback, negative feedback about me hating trans. She didn't say she hates trans. She said, I am here to extend love, but I also think that love is truth and being honest. And I want to protect young girls in a locker room or young girls in sport who shouldn't have to go against biological men. Again, this is where about 80% of the country is?
And Martina Navratilova is and has been for a long time.
Right.
A prominent athlete and lesbian.
Yes, if you take a look at this, New York Times sports show host ripped Sophie for not wanting men playing in her sport. Say she will speak at the Republican National Convention. The smoke show host also filmed over XX and XY chromosomes, calling the promotion of them anti-trans. It's pretty remarkable how liberal women went from second-wave feminism to advocating for men to take over their sport in just a few decades.
The narrative that I think that is problematic is to suggest that, number one, that transgender athletes are the biggest problem in women's sports. And I think this is what's bothersome, is that there's a faction of people in our country that are making this a massive issue.
I want to address the controversy that is happening right now around trans women in sports. As you know, I've talked about this a lot and will continue to keep talking about this. I don't know Sophie, so I can only project what I see about her beliefs based on her actions. And seeing a picture of her with Riley Gaines after the game told me everything I need to know about what's happening. Riley Gaines has made it her life's mission to exclude trans people from public life. She's directly tied to the Heritage Foundation, the authors of Project 2025 and now 2026, who have now published a report that suggests that they want to repeal Title IX, the very piece of legislation that allowed athletes like Sophie and myself to compete in sports. Sophie has claimed both to love trans people and support Title IX. And this is where I think the accountability with having a major platform is extremely important. You can hear it even in the language being used that the root of trans exclusion is to protect young girls from men. To be clear, I would love to have that conversation, and it's much needed in this country. But it frames the conversation as if we're protecting young girls from men being in WNBA locker rooms. Not happening. It villainizes trans girls as if they're somehow magically older than their peers or are men, when in reality, they are also young girls.
Yes, I don't know why we are still on this topic in 2026. I thought this was over, but looking at what is going on, it is still everywhere. Imagine real women struggling to protect their species, and some other women don't like to see this. It is becoming an issue. The other day, I saw Riley Gaines posting a picture with this lady. The kind of murder that I've seen, that should tell you a lot. Going back 2 years ago, this was a topic we talk on this channel every single day. Like, trans women should not be into women's sport. I came back a few hours ago. I saw this on my feed everywhere. That should tell you how our society is being drawn back into this.
Sophie Cunningham, you rancid bitch. Congratulations on protecting girls. Oh, you're doing so much to protect girls in sports. So now instead of having trans girls on the team, women are going to have to, the girls are going to have to undergo like traumatic physical examinations by adults. Adults are going to get to go look at young girls' bodies in order to make sure they're safe out there. Instead of running next to a trans girl, they're going to have adults looking at their bodies. This is the protection you wanted? Last week on the podcast, we talked about Sophie Cunningham and her disgusting remarks about trans athletes. And then also, you know, she wants to protect girls, but she's like out there supporting Conor McGregor. Besides that, this is the truth of the situation. Like, this is the future that dumbasses like Sophie Cunningham are advocating for. When you discriminate against trans girls, you are discriminating against all girls. Why would a young girl who is interested in sports want to play if she's gonna have to get her body checked? Like, these are traumatic physical evaluations that girls are gonna have to go through. They're not gonna play. Girls are not gonna play sports if this is what's happening. Aside from there being literally no reason that trans girls should be excluded from sports, this is what's happening when we even continue this conversation as if it's like a reasonable thing to do. Like when people like Sophie Cunningham are like, I'm just, just common sense, protect girls. You are destroying their childhood. It's like you're destroying girls, actually. And women's sports is being wiped off the table. Like, this is what the world that you are asking for. Obviously go fuck yourself. Obviously let trans kids play sports. And obviously, like, stay out of girls' business. How about?
Sophie Cunningham is doing a pretty blatant, like, right-wing grift.
Yeah, she's doing a hard pivot right. And I just think that she knows what she's doing, and she knows that ultimately her basketball career is only going to be so long. She's not the best player. She's not.
Now all these anti-trans protesters are showing up at outside WNBA games, and Sophie is still fanning the flame.
I don't even know why we are still on this topic. Women actually want biological men to take over their sport. They feel happy about it. And when you talk about this, they see you like you are insane. I've seen real women coming out to fight against this, and they look at them differently, like they are the problem instead. For them to appreciate what they are doing. At some point, I understand Democrats advocate for this, but seeing these people trying to bring this back, I thought the president had banned this. What exactly is even going on here? It is insane to allow this to continue.
Trans rights now is our new battle. That's what I think I was saying, that like the battles have changed. Oh, yes. Like our intentions have been the same, but now the environment has changed. We see trans people's rights being, stripped away from them. There's a lot of discourse around trans athletes and where they can compete in. I would welcome a trans athlete on my team or against my team anytime. I don't think it's a problem in the world. It's just another way to kind of attack trans people. We've seen players like Lasia Clarendon who stepped into that forefront and have been brave enough and courageous enough to kind of step up. So I guess that's the next battle that we have to fight as athletes. I think it's trans.
Les coachs sous les sifflets des Monégasques. Et la remontée de balle. Il y a un 2 contre 1 à jouer là. Est-ce qu'elle peut y aller toute seule? Tetart. Sur le Eurostep.
Okay. I see the skills.
On a vu Tarasenko encourager ses troupes et
downhill, Angel Reese going at a former Terrapin as well, and Alyssa Thomas couldn't collect it on the second attempt. Canada, Angel Reese didn't think twice, short on the early look. Angel Reese left alone.
Some screens and Eaton find her offense.
Give her a heat check, find Ryan Howard for 3.
Bro, they just leave her open, bro.
God bless you abundantly for sharing, supporting, and please try to hit up the videos. As of the short clips you see at the end, that's for a white greater. You can always skip.
You're out there with us, group of
Helen of Troy.
It just disgusts me.
When you come for the rest.
Never do this again.
Emily went under
to jurors, but it was shown.
Oh, can you hear me? Yeah.
So with all eyes on California, you can see exactly what's happening. It
goes on here in the Golden State.
In 39 days, we will know.
fun of people.
And so this is my life.
You're talking about qualification.
Odysseus,
Telemachus,
Penelope,
Antinous, Odysseus,
Athena,
Telemachus.
This clip of Elliot Page is going to be what takes the Odyssey movie. It's supposed to be a warrior, right? A warrior.
Really fortunate about
above theirs, and we aspire to higher things.